So when you're telling a story, whether it's film or TV, what you're doing is you're using a series of shots and angles and a combination of the two that expresses the best way to tell that story. So this is going to be a two-part video where I'll be breaking down different shots and angles that are most commonly used either in TV, cinematic TV series, and Hollywood films, and particularly the ones that I use the most. There are many others, but this is the one that we will be talking about in these two videos. So the first shot we're going to be talking about is the establishing shot. Now the establishing shot is used to, as the name implies, establish things, in specific the location that you're in. It's most commonly used in big sci-fi productions, especially when you're trying to introduce like a new world, for example in Star Wars. So these grand worlds that you're trying to introduce, an establishing shot is perfect just to set up this kind of location that your characters are in, whether it's film or TV. An establishing shot also helps the audience kind of have an idea or a picture of how big things are within the frame. So for example, in the Fellowship of the Ring, when the party are traveling across the mountains, that is a good establishing shot because it shows off how grand the scale of their journey is and what world they're in. Establishing shot is also great to introduce new scenes and transition from place to place. And usually the DOPs love really long establishing shots, and it can be quite good for the story. However, when you are a director and you're trying to tell a story in a short amount of time, sometimes you might have to sacrifice a bit of that establishing shot so that you can tell the story in a better way. And typically, the wider the shot, the better, because the more you can show off this grand location, the more value you add on to that scene and to your overall film. Next on the list is the master shot. Now the master shot is probably one of the most important shots that you can take in whatever production you're in. What the master shot does, it captures the entire scene played out in its entirety. So whatever movements the characters are making within the scene, the master will capture absolutely everything. It's important, well I find anyway, that you always shoot the master first, because that way you can set up all your lights and everything towards the master, and then when you finally change shots, for example to a close-up or a medium, you can then shift the lights or bring the lights closer so that you can balance or you can match your shots together later on in post. The master also establishes the geography of the scene, so where characters are in relation to one another, so that the audience doesn't get confused when a certain camera angle jumps from one character to another and then to another. What a master does is allows the audience to see everything and allows the audience to see how far away a certain character is from the next. And finally, one of the most important reasons why you should always shoot a master is because it gives your editor a safety shot. So if anything happens that's maybe wrong in the close-up or the medium shot, you can always refer back to the master and kind of resets the whole scene before you want to go back into that medium or that close-up or that over-the-shoulder shot. So that's why the master is very important, especially for an editor. So just keep that in mind when you're working on productions, when you're making your next short film or you're working on a TV commercial, whatever it might be. A master is always important for anything that you do.
You're fighting about me, aren't you?
Of course not. Why would we be fighting about you?
Because I wanted to come and see the sea, and you've just been fighting the whole time.
It's just we want everything to be perfect for you.
But ruining it by fighting.
We don't mean to. Just we don't want you to never see the sea.
But it doesn't matter if we don't see the sea.
It doesn't?
No. I just wanted us all to go out together.
The reason we're always fighting is because we love you so much.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
So next on the list is we have the wide shot, and the wide shot is typically used to put the subjects, the characters or the actors away from the camera to showcase how big they are within their environment. Now, difference between the establishing shot and the wide shot is where the establishing shot focuses on the location, the wide shot primarily focuses on the subjects within that location. So the difference is the place opposed to the things happening or the characters or the subjects within that place. Now, a wide shot can also be used to emphasize that someone is alone, lost, confused, or wandering. And when I say alone, I don't mean one person. It could be like a group of people just alone in this big, wide open space. And the wide is also really good to be used when you're trying to showcase the depth of that location. Now, the first three shots, being the establishing shot, the master shot, and the wide shot, focuses mainly on like the location and the characters within that location, showcasing the environment, the size, and the depth. The next shots that I'm going to be talking about focuses primarily on the subject or the actor that you are putting in front of your camera. So the first one up is the medium shot. Now, the medium shot is probably the most used shot throughout whatever production you're seeing on TV, in the cinema, wherever it might be. The medium shot is the most popularly used shot everywhere. Now, what a medium shot does, it gives the audience a sense of neutrality because it's kind of how we as real people interact with one another. It's typically shot from the waist up, giving a little bit of headroom because it's how we perceive one another when we're having conversations. That kind of translates to what the cinema or the camera world knows as a medium shot. And like I said, it's the most popular shot in whatever medium you're watching things in. So wherever you go, you will see a medium shot being used literally everywhere. You can't get away with making a production without having a medium shot in. And if you can, props to you, but the chances that it's very good might be quite low. So I suggest you having medium shots in your framings as much as you can, or maybe not as much as you can, but definitely have it in there because it really helps to give the audience a sense of natural viewing to whatever you're doing. Now, if the medium shot is the most popular shot used in productions, I'd say the medium close-up is the second most popular shot. And what this does is perfect for what I'm doing right now. And that is breaking the fourth wall when I'm addressing the audience, when I'm addressing you guys. Usually filmed from chest up, again, leaving a little bit of headroom. But it's usually used here like this when you're trying to do interviews or speaking directly to the audience. For example, like prime ministers, the presidents, and whenever you're addressing a group of people, you're typically going to have either a medium or a close medium. Next on the list is we have the close-up, and the close-up is filmed from the neck up, perfect to convey emotion, beauty, inner thoughts, and used whenever you're trying to express certain things to a character. You'll have a nice little close-up of that person or that subject to really showcase what it is you're trying to get the audience to see. Now, as I mentioned, all the shots that I'm talking about, they're going to be very popular in whatever medium you're watching things in, whether it's TV or film. These shots are going to be used literally everywhere. And the close-up is literally amazing to convey drama, intensity to your scene. And especially like if you're really trying to get a point across, or as things become more intense, a close-up is really nice to capture the emotion of that scene or that person as he might be delivering his line, or he might be having an internal monologue, and you can see the kind of reactions that person is having. A close-up is also popularly used when it comes to filming models and beauty kind of commercials because you want to show off how pretty this model is, how beautiful, how flawless her features are, and you use that using a close-up. And finally, on our most popular shots is we have the extreme close-up. The extreme close-up is used when you really want to accentuate certain parts of the person's features or the product's features. It's most commonly used around the eyes or maybe the mouth when you're whispering something in someone's ear, you know, and you really want to accentuate that special detail, use an extreme close-up. Another way to use an extreme close-up is by using B-roll when you're trying to establish certain parts of an object or certain parts of the story or the location. Use an extreme close-up to kind of give more detail in the place that you are or the things that you're trying to showcase. It's a really good way to showcase detail in whatever you're doing, and personally I really like it because it helps to kind of like add a new layer of storytelling when you're really close in to this object or to this person and you're highlighting it, whatever it is that you're trying to highlight, essentially, whether it's beauty or hard edges or light. An extreme close-up is perfect for that use. I hope you guys enjoyed this video where I'm breaking down all the shots that I most commonly used in whatever I'm making, and they are also some of the most popular shots that Hollywood productions use when they are creating their projects. Studio Binder, I think, had a really in-depth video talking about shots and different types of shots, and I think they list off a couple more. But if you are interested in learning more about different shots, then you can go to their page and check out their video because they do a really good job in analyzing and explaining shots better, at least I think anyway. But yeah guys, if you enjoyed this video, then do give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't so already, and I will see you in part 2 where I'll be explaining different angles that go along with certain shots. But yeah, take care and I'll see you all soon.